finished well. I did remember reading his name somewhere, like last week or the week before. Yeah. Oh, don't tell me we're losing the ambulance. Turner, we've got 50 laps to go. He's got the green flag out and waving. Cully once again able to motor out front. Ernie Bertrand, car number 01, follows suit. Ernie Emery not about to give up the second spot without a battle, looks to battle back on the outside. Side by side, the field stays tightly bunched. 3 and 4 wide off the turn, really stretching it out down the front straightaway. Size of the car gives them plenty of racing lanes to utilize. They use just about every one. In fact, 1 or 2 that may not even be there at times. But they do a fine job. And let's see this afternoon if swapping a little paint will be about the only disaster we have to face. Keep in mind, it's early in the event, but everybody tries to make as many giant steps forward as they can. Don Kelly's out front. But here comes the 67 of Brandon Clemens and the 37 of Charlie Andre Jr. John Sembra, car number 66, giving it a good run. That little Mercury Bobcat really picking him up and putting him down as he's currently being shown in the 4th spot. 5th spot goes to the 42 of Steve Walsh. After that is Dan Darnstead in the 53. Civardi, winner 2 weeks ago, car number 59, still way back in traffic, being very patient, picking his spots up until this point. The idea is you have to be there when the checkered flag is displayed. Right now, that's 44 laps from this particular point. You don't want to wear out the car, you don't want to get into trouble. You just want to get towards the front of the field. Take your time, methodically pick your way up through, navigating through the slower cars. That's what racing is all about. Ducky Rogers a bit sideways through the turns with the double threes. He's able to regain control right in front of Billy DuPont's number 24. 7 laps posted on the scoreboard, now it's 8. Your leader remains Don Kelly in the 71, but he's got company coming, folks. He can hear the footsteps of Charlie Andre Jr., aboard car number 37, as Andre looks to close in. Waiting in the wings is Brandon Clemens. He's close by, only about 3 car lengths behind. Tommy Metcalf also coming on strong, as is Dan Darnstead in the 53. Problems, we've got a car up in the wall in turn number 2, and we got the 40. Pace quickens, green is out, we're back underway. It's a drag race into turn number 1 with Don Kelly on the inside, Charlie Andre on the outside, and Tommy Metcalf in car number 8, making it a 3-car battle for the lead. Metcalf, the meat in the sandwich, well, that shakes down in a hurry as Don Kelly drops back to the 3rd spot. Metcalf now battling for the lead. He's got the runner-up honors and chases the leader up into turn number 1. Andre opens the door by going to the high groove. That could spell disaster. As the 5 of Mike Walsh testing the Omco barrier. Slides along rather nicely, gets it back under control, and we stay on the green. Charlie Andre, Tommy Metcalf, then it's the 67 of Brandon Clemens in that order. Dan Darnstead, Don Kelly, Soup Civardi, Bruce Thomas. Wow, car number 7, Mike Ferdall, coming from a long way back. He's running up towards the front, along with the 42 of Steve Welch. the 6X of Darrell Brockett, and the 33 of Chucky Rogers. Then it's Jeff Carnes, Billy DuPont in the 24, the Deuce of Dan Delana, the 92 of John Kucera, the 01 of Ernie Bertrand, the 50 of Ernie Emery, the 9 Connecticut of Jimmy Dukins. Then another half a dozen or so cars running back in the pack. Ron Rice in the 82, the 38 of Eric Bosworth, the 08X of Les Patone Jr., the 71 of Frenchie Menard, the 93 of Rich Nye. Again, we pick up with the 5 of Walsh and the 26 of Pat Burns. Then we got Chucky Field Jr. in the 17X, John Curry in the 46, George DuBois in the 97X, and back to the leader, 37 of Charlie Andre Jr. 15 laps complete and counting. Keep in mind this is a 50-lap feature event. That's what these drivers are used to running on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. We have a battle for the lead as Charlie Andrade holding off the challenges of Tommy Metcalf in the 8 car. They better check out their rear view mirrors as Soup Civardi in the Alfa Romeo, car number 59, and the 7 of Mike Fernald, the hot pink number 7, both closing in on our leaders. One miscue could open the door. The leaders battling together, definitely running slower than if they're being chased like Civardi is doing to the leaders. Problems in turn 2 sends the 42 of Walsh and the Deuce of Dan Delana on around. That brings out the caution with some 17 laps. Charlie Andrade looking to get out front off that 4th turn, shifting it up through the gears. He grabs off that number 1 position, but Tommy Metcalf not to be denied, right there hounding his back bumper, but that opens the door for Mike Fernald. Fernald very strong the last time out, now up to 2nd and challenging for the lead. Fernald down low. Soup Civardi not far behind. The first 7, 8, 9, or even 10, 11 cars still have a good opportunity as they run up front. Some of the heavy hitters stuck in traffic. This one's going to be a real battle right down to the checkers. The 2 cars that finished 1 and 2 last time are in reverse order right now. But Soup Civardi would like nothing better than to take over command of this one. 5 laps shy of the halfway marker. 20 laps down, 30 to go. The Alfa Romeo up front once again. He came from a long way back. In fact, he started way back in the number 22 starting position. Mike Fernald, on the other hand, car number 7. Starting on the inside of that row, so that tells you these 2 drivers have passed almost the entire field to get to the front. Fernald goes around with the 7. Don Kelly with the 71, able to sneak on by. Walsh up against the wall with car number 5, just up on the big pedal. Once again, it's Soup Civardi with the edge off the 4th turn. The Alfa Romeo comes to life in a hurry, and he is the leader in turn number 1. Charlie Andrade and Tommy Metcalf a little bit behind, running 2nd and 3rd. Dan Darnstead now moves into the 4th spot with car number 53. Brandon Clemens in the 67, able to get the better of Bruce Thomas. Strange things to happen up front. Darrell Brockett takes an unscheduled excursion up towards the wall, but brings it back down nicely. You can see how fast they begin to spread them out around the speedway. It's only been a couple of laps since the green flag has returned, and already half the speedway or more is being utilized. So any of the faster cars in the back are going to have their work cut out. We have problems in turn number 2. Chucky Rogers and Mike Fernald meet quickens about halfway down the 300-foot long back straightaway. They start shifting them up through the gears. The ponies come alive, and we go percolating up into turn number 1, side by side. Civardi gets the edge through the turns. He comes out about a car length or so ahead. But Tommy Metcalf right there, just biding his time. It's not over till the checkered flag comes out, folks. Soup Civardi, the current point leader in the mini stock division, out front with car number 59. He won just a couple of weeks ago. He'd like to become a repeat winner. Rich Nye testing the Amco barrier through the turns. Finds out it's unforgiving, but he's able to keep the car rolling, and that's what counts. In fact, it doesn't even appear to be any worse for the wear. Once again, the drivers shuffle the deck. Seven laps and counting. The field beginning to stretch out once again on this green flag period. Seems the more laps they get, the quicker they get opened up. George the Boyd, car number 97X, points it to the infield. Looks as though the big Pinto is done for the afternoon. Meanwhile, the AOK Auto-sponsored number 59, definitely the class of the field. Looking to make it the Soup Civardi show here this afternoon. Some of the slower cars being told to push over, make room for the leaders. As Soup Civardi making short work of some of the back markers. With only 19 laps left to go. John Sembrook's number 66 giving it up once again as he points the Mercury Bobcat to the infield. The rest of the field stands on the throttle and we stay under green. Again, some of the back markers may pose a problem for our leader. Soup Civardi making the wise choice on the inside of Pat Burns. Then he goes to the outside of the 44 car on the backstretch. Back in the package, a real war being waged. They continue to run 2, 3, and sometime more wide. More is not always better. That's when these little incidences seem to develop. As we speak, the 5 car of Walsh a bit sideways as the 01 car of Ernie Bertrand goes around. He keeps rolling and looks as though he's going to get back underway as we stay under green. Green flag is quickly back out. You can see all the headhunters up front. Everybody looking for the win in this 50-lap event. Current point leader, Soup Civardi out front. A good example of why he is the current leader. The car's been running super good all year long. Who would have ever thought an Alfa Romeo to run in 4-cylinder competition, but they did. It did the trick. 2 years back we had a big Volvo doing the same type of thing. Charlie Andre takes a little excursion off the racetrack in turn 4. He comes back out, but not after giving up some valuable real estate to some of the other front runners. Jimmy Gookins high in the marbles off turn 4. Fortunately able to slide back in line. John Curry, car number 46, not quite up to racing speed. He's at the back end of the field, just in front of some of the front runners. Civardi about to put one of the back markers another lap down, but Curry not willing to go lightly. He's battling for all he's worth, trying to hold on the spot and stay in the lap. But finally around the outside, Civardi gains the advantage. Tommy Metcalf appears to be smoking just a little bit with car number 8. We're not quite sure whether it's just a little excess horsepower or if the motor is developing a problem. Jimmy Gookins, car number 9, Connecticut. He's parked it in the infield. Meanwhile, back out on the racetrack, looks as though Tommy Metcalf may be closing in on our leader. Question is it too little too late? Or has he been sandbagging, as they say? Just biding his time, waiting for the appropriate situation to move on in and take over command. 43 laps complete. Soup Civardi out front. Tommy Metcalf runs second. Bruce Thomas in the 34 is third. Then it's Jeff Carnes in the 68. Believe it or not, the 7 of Mike Fernald may be a lap car. We're not quite sure. We're not going to call that one. But Charlie Andre Jr. in the 37. Brandon Plemons in the 67. Dan Donstead in the 53. Don Cully in the 71. And the order should be something of that nature. As we get the 5 to go from the flag stand. If Metcalf has been holding back, well, he better let it be known real soon what his intentions are on whether or not he's going to be able to gain the victory. Metcalf definitely closing in. We're not sure if Soup Civardi just kind of backing off, maintaining the edge, using what he has to stay up front. But it's definitely running down to a case of just 3 laps to go as they cross the stripe. Wow, close call with some of the back markers. Fortunately, both front runners able to slide on by. It appears Tommy Metcalf, for the time being, cannot muster any more horsepower. He's running second by about 2 car lengths. But he's been there for the last half a dozen or so laps. And with time running out, kind of suggests that he's got it to the firewall. Actually, he's probably got his foot buried in the carburetor. But it doesn't appear to have quite enough. White flag is waving. Soup Civardi out front, but here comes Tommy Metcalf. Last time around the block.
Now, car length and a half separate the first 2 automobiles. We go 3 wide at the line. Out of turn number 4, the checker flag falls as Soup Civardi picks up his 2nd win in a row. Tommy Metcalf settling for the runner-up position with the 8. That was the 34 of Jeff Carnes. They make that the 68 of Jeff Carnes and the 7 unofficially of Mike Fernald.
And of all things, an Alfa Romeo down here in Victory Lane once again. Tommy Metcalf aboard car number 8 chased him right to the line, but just couldn't quite muster enough. Bruce Thomas, one of our past champions, coming up a bit short as he unofficially, and I stress, underline unofficially, finishing in the 3rd spot. Soup Civardi races with us on Saturday nights as well in our limited sportsman division. He thought he had a 4th place finish last night, but he found out what that unofficial means until it's been through inspection. The car was a bit too low and he was disqualified. But ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this afternoon's mini stock 50 lapper is Mr. Soup Civardi. His real name is Jeff, by the way. We didn't find that out till last season. You know, Soup, you're starting to look cool at this, buddy. You're getting used to it. 2 times out, 2 wins. It's got to start feeling pretty good.
Yeah, it feels real good, Joe.
You know, once again, you had a Mustang chasing you down to the line. One of these guys is going to get your number before it's over.
Yeah, well, the motor wasn't really running as well as it should, but we did it.
Well, you know, the car seems to handle just super well. You came back from the 22nd starting spot, and you were right up in front, about halfway through. Was that the plan, kind of cool it the first half and go from there?
Yeah, that's what it was, Joe. Yep.
Anybody in particular you want to say thanks to? Is anybody extra special helping you out with this team?
Well, everybody on the crew, all my sponsors, Automotive World, Snow Memorial, A&S Eyewear, just everybody.
How about Auto World, TLB?
Yep.
You know, you get a lot of folks helping you out. It's got to make you feel pretty good that they're behind you all the way.
They are, Joe.
All the way to victory lane, Sue.